What happens when Hollywood's most outspoken tough guy meets daytime television's most controversial host? Well, you're about to find out, 'cause Mark Wahlberg just got himself kicked off The View after an explosive confrontation with Joy Behar that nobody saw coming. This isn't your typical celebrity interview gone wrong. This is full-blown verbal warfare that had the studio audience gasping and the other hosts scrambling to restore order. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. What started as a simple promotional appearance turned into one of the most dramatic moments in daytime television history. Before we dive into this story, hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think about celebrities speaking their minds on talk shows. Trust me, you'll have strong opinions after hearing what went down. Picture this, a regular Tuesday morning at the View studio in New York City. The opening theme music fades out as the camera pans across the iconic semicircular desk where 5 of daytime television's most recognizable faces are seated. Joy Behar, with her signature smirk already forming, sits at the center, flanked by Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, Alyssa Farah Griffin, Ken Sunny host. The audience buzzes with anticipation because today's guest is Mark Wahlberg, the Boston native who's never been known to back down from a fight, on screen or off. Welcome back to The View, Joy announces with her familiar edge. We're here with Mark Wahlberg, star of the new action thriller dominating the box office. Mark, thanks for being here. Mark, dressed in a perfectly tailored navy suit, but maintaining that unmistakable Wahlberg swagger, leans back with a confident smile. Thanks for having me, Joy. Always a pleasure to be here with you ladies. But anyone who knows Joy knows she's not one for small talk, especially with a guest who's made headlines for his conservative views. So, Mark, she begins, her voice taking on that prosecutorial tone. You've been pretty vocal about your political opinions lately. Some might say you're trying to use your platform to push a certain agenda. The studio falls silent. Mark's smile doesn't falter, but there's a noticeable shift in his posture. I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. Joy, that's what makes this country great, right? Freedom of speech and all that. Freedom of speech, Joy repeats, sarcasm dripping from her voice. How convenient. But when your speech spreads misinformation and divides people, don't you think you have a responsibility to your fans? Whoopi tries to interject, sensing the tension. Well, I think what Joy is trying to say is that celebrities have a unique platform. No, Whoopi, Joy cuts her off sharply. I think I can speak for myself. Mark, you've made some pretty controversial statements about immigration, about social issues. Don't you think you should stick to acting and leave political commentary to people who actually know what they're talking about? Mark's jaw tightens. Excuse me, people who actually know what they're talking about. Are you saying I'm too stupid to have an opinion because I'm an actor? I'm saying maybe you should think before you speak. Joy fires back, her voice rising. When you have millions of followers, your words have consequences. You can't just say whatever pops into your head. Sarah Haynes jumps in to diffuse the situation. I think we all agree everyone has the right to their opinion. And Mark, we appreciate you sharing your perspective. Do we though? Joy interrupts, fully committed to the confrontation. Do we really appreciate spreading divisive rhetoric? Mark, you grew up in a working-class family in Boston. How can you support policies that hurt working families? Mark's face flushes red, his famous temper showing. Hold on just a minute, Joy. You don't know anything about my background or what I've been through. You want to talk about working families? I was working construction jobs when I was 15. I know what it's like to struggle, to fight for everything you have. And yet, you support politicians who want to cut programs that help struggling families. Joy shoots back. Explain that to me, Mark. How do you justify that? The other hosts exchange uncomfortable glances. Alyssa Farah Griffin clears her throat. Maybe we should focus on the movie. No, let's not. Joy snaps. This is important, Mark. You have a platform, and you're using it irresponsibly. You're spreading conspiracy theories. You're promoting division. And frankly, I think your fans deserve better. Mark stands so quickly, his chair slides backward. Conspiracy theories. Lady, you've been pushing conspiracy theories for years. Remember when you said the election was stolen? Oh wait, that was when your side lost. When the other side says it, suddenly it's a conspiracy theory. The audience gasps audibly. Joy's face goes white, then red. How dare you? How dare you come on my show? In your show? Mark laughs bitterly. Last I checked, this show belongs to all 5 of you. But you seem to think you run the place, don't you, Joy? You interrupt everyone. You talk over your co-hosts. And now you're trying to lecture me about responsibility. Sunny host finally speaks, her voice steady but concerned. Mark, I think we're all just trying to have a constructive conversation. Constructive. Mark whirls around. There's nothing constructive about what just happened. Joy attacked me personally, questioned my intelligence, and then had the audacity to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You want to know what I think? I think Joy here is exactly what's wrong with political discourse in this country. Joy slams her hand on the desk. That's it. I don't have to sit here and take this abuse from someone who thinks his opinion matters more than facts. Facts. Mark's voice rises to match hers. You want to talk about facts? Here's a fact, Joy. You've been wrong about almost everything for the past decade. You called Trump a joke, said he'd never win. You said the economy was great when families were struggling to put food on the table. You live in a bubble, surrounded by people who tell you what you want to hear. The tension in the studio is palpable. Whoopi frantically signals to the producers off camera. Sarah grips her coffee mug so tightly her knuckles are white. Alyssa looks like she wants to disappear into her chair. A bubble. Joy's voice cracks with indignation. I live in a bubble. Mark, you live in a mansion in Beverly Hills. You haven't been a working class guy for 30 years. Don't lecture me about being out of touch. At least I remember where I came from. Mark fires back, his Boston accent thickening with every word. I don't pretend to speak for people I've never met, people whose struggles I've never experienced. You sit here every day telling America what to think, and half the time you don't even know what you're talking about. Whoopi finally finds her voice, authoritative but strained. Okay, everybody needs to take a breath here. Mark, Joy, we're all adults. We can disagree without no Whoopi. Joy interrupts, her finger pointed directly at Mark. This man comes on our show, disrespects me, disrespects the audience, and you want me to just sit here and take it? I don't think so. Mark laughs, but there's no humor in it. Disrespect. You started this, Joy. You came at me from the moment I sat down. You questioned my intelligence, my right to have an opinion, and now you're playing the victim. Sunny host tries to interject with measured precision. Mark, I think what Joy is trying to say is that with a great platform comes great responsibility. When you have millions of followers, stop. Mark holds up his hand. Just stop. Do you hear yourselves? You're all defending her behavior like it's normal, like it's okay to ambush a guest, attack them personally, try to humiliate them on national television. Sarah Haynes, clearly uncomfortable, attempts to steer the conversation back. Maybe we can talk about your new movie. I heard the action sequences are incredible. No, Sarah. Joy cuts her off, her voice trembling with rage. We're not moving on until Mark apologizes for his outburst. This is completely unprofessional. Mark's eyes widen in disbelief. I need to apologize for what? For defending myself. For not letting you bulldoze me like you do everyone else. For being disrespectful. Joy snaps. For raising your voice. For making personal attacks. Personal attacks. Mark's voice rises to a shout. You literally called me stupid in the first 5 minutes of this interview. You questioned my background, my intelligence, my right to have political opinions, but somehow I'm the one making personal attacks. Alyssa Farrah Griffin speaks up, diplomatic but firm. I think we all need to acknowledge that this conversation has gotten heated. And maybe we should what? Joy whirls on her. Maybe we should let guests come on our show and berate the hosts. Is that what you're suggesting, Alyssa? I'm suggesting, Alyssa replies carefully, that we all take responsibility for how this conversation escalated. Oh, so now it's my fault. Joy's voice hits a new octave. I'm just supposed to sit here and let Mark Wahlberg lecture me about journalism, politics, responsibility. I've been doing this for decades. I don't need some actor telling me how to do my job. Mark slams his hand on the desk, making everyone jump. There it is. There's the real Joy Behar. It's not about having a conversation. It's not about different perspectives. It's about your ego. You can't handle being challenged. You can't handle someone not backing down from your intimidation tactics. Intimidation tactics? Joy's face is now completely red. You're the one who stood up. You're the one who raised your voice. You're the one who I stood up because you were attacking me. Mark interrupts. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and let you continue this charade. You want to know what intimidation looks like? It's using your platform to silence people who disagree with you. It's ganging up on guests with your co-hosts. It's creating an environment where people are afraid to speak their mind. Whoopi tries one more time. Mark, please, let us just know. Whoopi. Mark's voice is deadly calm, which somehow makes it more menacing. I'm done. I came here to talk about my movie, to have a civil conversation. And instead, I got ambushed by someone who clearly has a personal vendetta against anyone who doesn't share her worldview. Joy stands up, matching Mark's energy. Personal vendetta. You think this is personal, Mark? This is about principle. This is about not giving a platform to dangerous rhetoric. Dangerous rhetoric. Mark laughs bitterly. What's dangerous is thinking you're the arbiter of truth. What's dangerous is believing only your opinions matter. What's dangerous is the arrogance to think you can decide what millions of Americans are allowed to hear. Sarah looks like she's about to cry. Can we please just Sarah? Not now. Joy snaps at her co-host. Mark, if you think your views are so important, why don't you start your own show? Why don't you get your own platform instead of coming on ours and disrespecting everything we've built? Everything you've built. Mark's voice is incredulous. Joy, this show was successful long before you got here, and it'll be successful long after you're gone. The problem is, you've forgotten that this is supposed to be a conversation, not a lecture hall where you get to indoctrinate people. The studio audience is completely silent, hanging on every word. Even the producers have stopped their frantic signaling, mesmerized by the train wreck unfolding before them. Sunny tries once more to be the voice of reason. I think we're all passionate about our beliefs, and that's okay. But maybe we can find common ground. Common ground. Joy's voice is now shrill. Sunny, there's no common ground with someone who promotes division, spreads misinformation, who uses his celebrity to push a harmful agenda. Mark's face goes dark. Harmful agenda. You want to talk about harmful. What's harmful is telling people their opinions don't matter if they don't align with yours. What's harmful is creating an uns-for system mentality. What's harmful is exactly what you're doing right now. What I'm doing. Joy's voice cracks. I'm holding you accountable. I'm asking tough questions. I'm not just letting you come on here and spout your propaganda unchallenged. Propaganda. Mark's voice drops to a whisper, and everyone leans in. Joy, do you even hear yourself? You're so consumed with your own righteousness that you can't see how you're behaving. You're bullying me. You're bullying your own co-hosts, and you're doing it all while claiming to be the victim. The camera captures Joy's face as the words hit her. For a moment, she looks genuinely shaken, but then her defensive walls go back up. I'm not bullying anyone. I'm doing my job. I'm asking the questions that need to be asked. No, Mark says firmly. You're grandstanding. You're performing for the cameras. You're using me as a prop in your own personal political theater. The silence that follows Mark's accusation is deafening. Joy's mouth opens and closes like she's trying to find words, but nothing comes out. The other hosts exchange glances, clearly uncomfortable with how their colleague is being exposed on live television. Political theater. Joy finally sputters. You think this is theater? Mark, you came on my show. There it is again. Mark interrupts, his voice cutting through her stammering. My show? Your show. Joy, this isn't a Joy Behar show. This is The View, but you've turned it into your personal soapbox. And anyone who disagrees with you gets the treatment I'm getting right now. Whoopi clears her throat loudly. Mark, I think we need to take a step back here. This conversation has gotten way too heated. Has it though? Mark turns to face Whoopi directly. Or has it just gotten too honest? Whoopi, you've been sitting there watching Joy attack me for the past 10 minutes. And this is the first time you've really tried to stop her. Why is that? Whoopi looks genuinely taken aback. I was trying to let you both express your views. No, you were letting Joy express her views, Mark corrects. Every time I tried to defend myself, she interrupted me. Every time one of you tried to change the subject, she'll shut you down. She's not just disrespecting me, she's disrespecting all of you. Sarah Haynes looks like she wants to crawl under the desk. Mark, I don't think that's fair to say, is it? Mark's gaze shifts to Sarah. Sarah, how many times have you tried to change the subject today? How many times has Joy cut you off? Count them. Sarah's face goes pale as she realizes he's right. The cameras catch her counting on her fingers under the desk, her expression telling the whole story. Joy, seeing her losing control of the narrative, goes nuclear. That's enough. Mark, you're way out of line here. You're attacking me personally. You're attacking the show. You're attacking my co-hosts. I'm not attacking anyone, Mark says calmly. I'm pointing out behavior. I'm calling out what everyone can see, but apparently nobody wants to acknowledge what everyone can see. Joy's voice is at full volume. What everyone can see is a guest who can't handle being challenged, who throws a tantrum when asked tough questions. Tough questions. Mark's calm demeanor finally cracks. Joy, you didn't ask me tough questions. You made accusations. You questioned my intelligence, my background, my right to have opinions. That's not journalism. That's harassment. Lisa Farrah Griffin, quiet for most of the exchange, finally speaks up. You know what? Mark S. got a point. Joy, you did come at him pretty hard right from the start. Joy whirls on Alyssa, her face a mask of fury. You're gonna side with him against me? I'm not siding with anyone, Alyssa replies firmly. I'm just saying, maybe we could have approached this differently. Approached what differently? Joy's voice cracks, holding celebrities accountable, asking hard questions, doing our job. Sunny host, who's been trying to stay neutral, finally loses her patience. Joy, that's not what happened here, and you know it. You went after him personally from the moment he sat down. Joy looks around the table in disbelief. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. My own co-hosts are turning on me to defend someone who came on our show and disrespected everything we stand for. We didn't turn on you, Whoopi says quietly. We're just trying to be fair. Fair? Joy's voice hits a new pitch. You want to be fair? Fine, Mark. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to apologize to me, to the show, and to our audience, or you're going to leave. Those are your options. Mark stares at her for a long moment, then starts to laugh. It's not a pleasant sound. You're giving me an ultimatum on live television. Joy, do you have any idea how this looks? It looks like I'm standing up for myself in my show, Joy replies, her voice wavering. It looks like you're having a meltdown, Mark says bluntly. It looks like you can't handle being called out for your behavior. It looks like you're so used to people being intimidated by you that you don't know how to react when someone pushes back. The studio audience is completely silent. Even the cameras seem to be holding their breath. That's it. Joy stands up abruptly. Security. I want him removed from the building now. The other hosts look shocked. Sarah gasps audibly. Whoopi's mouth falls open. Sunny shakes her head in disbelief. Joy, can't just Alyssa, starts a protest. I can and I will. Joy cuts her off. This is my show, and I won't be disrespected like this. Mark stands up slowly, his movements deliberate and calm. You know what, Joy? You're right. This is your show. You've made that crystal clear. But here's the thing. America's watching. They are seeing exactly who you really are. They're seeing how you treat people who disagree with you. They're seeing how you treat your own co-hosts when they don't fall in line. Get out. Joy's voice is barely controlled. Just get out, okay? I'm going, Mark replies, straightening his jacket. But before I do, I want to say something to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what passes for civil discourse in America today. This is what happens when you dare to have a different opinion. This is what happens when you don't bow down to the thought police. Security. Joy screams, her voice cracking completely. Mark turns to the other hosts. Ladies, it's been real. Whoopi, Sarah, Sunny, Alicia, all seem like decent people. Maybe it's time you ask yourselves whether this is the kind of show you want to be part of. As security approaches, Mark raises his hands. I'm going peacefully. But Joy, you just proved every point I was trying to make. You just showed America exactly what kind of person you are. And I don't think it's the look you were going for. Joy is now visibly shaking, her finger pointing at Mark as security escorts him toward the exit. Don't you dare lecture me about civility. Don't you dare come on my show and act like you're the victim here. I'm not the victim, but neither are you, Mark calls back as he's led away. The real victims are the people watching at home who deserve better than this kind of toxic behavior from their media. The cameras follow Mark as he's escorted out, capturing his final words. America, you deserve hosts who can have a conversation without having a breakdown. You deserve better than this. The studio falls into stunned silence as Mark disappears from view. Joy stands there shaking, looking around at her co-hosts, who are all staring at her with a mixture of shock and disappointment. The audience sits in complete silence, processing what they've just witnessed. Whoopi finally speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. Well, that was something. Joy collapses back into her chair, suddenly looking smaller and more fragile than anyone has ever seen her. He was so disrespectful, Jai, Sunny says gently. Maybe we should go to commercial, Jai says firmly, trying to regain her composure. No, we're not running away from this. America saw what happened here. They saw a guest who couldn't handle being challenged, who threw a tantrum and had to be removed from the building. But even as she says the words, Joy knows how hollow they sound. The damage is done. America did see what happened, but they didn't see what Joy wanted them to see. They saw a host who lost control, who couldn't handle being called out, who had to resort to having security remove a guest rather than engage in honest dialogue. As the show cuts to commercial, the silence in the studio is deafening. The other hosts sit in stunned silence, processing what just happened. And somewhere in America, millions of viewers are forming their own opinions about what they just witnessed. So there you have it, one of the most explosive confrontations in daytime television history. Mark Wahlberg didn't just get kicked off The View, he exposed the toxic behavior that many viewers have been complaining about for years. What do you think? Was Mark out of line, or was he just saying what needed to be said? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. What celebrity do you think should go on The View next?